Wuz isn't easy on the tongue, but I think he says he's happy to see a friendly face. Not too many of those around these days. Says it's good to see you again. He's Wiz. You might remember him from the old days when he let you try his octopod? Wiz remembers you were such a cheery kid, and he's glad to see that light hasn't faded from you, despite the years. But Wiz understands it was a long time ago, and memories get murkier the deeper you go, but says it helps to have friends with you to plumb those depths. It was a tragedy, but also sad that you chose to leave. It's a miracle you made it on the outside on your own. That land is harsh, they say. Wiz says our memory keeps things for us, preserves them until we are ready to face them again. He knows you've returned to face Lupa Lupin, and that confrontation is as inevitable as the tides. He's not surprised that the loss of your family could plunge you into the depths forever, but you've always been able to rise like a bubble to the surface, no matter what. He knows that though the tides of history may push you in one direction, you can always lay your own course. He feels you've deserved revenge because of how you were wronged. You've suffered enough to make him pay. Asks if you ever think about freedom and whether any of us really has it. Did you make the decisions that brought you here, or are you just a pawn of fate? Maybe that's true for you, but he's not so sure about his own fate. Amazed the world is going to continue on, but happy to hear it. Still so many things to invent. Impressed that you fought so hard to keep the world spinning. Says you're smart to join the Ankati. He likes how they manage to make so much out of so little. Meeting challenges is what makes us stronger. The harder something is to do, the more important it is. But that's not nearly as important as this. Wiz says that you should let the past dwell in the depths. But there's something else down there too, gnawing at the tree of life. He's named it the Merc Puff. This is why he's tinker-tonkering with the octopod. But the lid got stuck, so he needs a big enough tug twister to open it up and let you a-go-in. He can't leave the surge station, so you must help him find a tug twister. There's a wound-up Mekafingro in the Mecha Stadium that still has one stuck on its back. Find it, and you'll find the tug twister. don't know what that e-waste was. Don't want to point a finger, but the Mecha Stadium is near here. That made it all worth it. Just a few moves left. Make them count. Everything seems to take longer at night. Gross. This place stinks. You need to line up the switches so they match. Just a few moves left. Make them count. Bristles like the hair of one electrified. You need to line up the switches so they match. Good. That's enough electric current to initiate the actuators and activate the framework. You need to loosen the bolts without unsettling it. That's it. The tug twister's loose. Let's hope it turned the grabbing hand into a helping hand, too. Such a... He believed the tug twister would do the trick, but now realizes brute force won't do the trick. You need something slick. Well, he means slick as in greasy, so you can lube the hinges of the lid. He can't argue against the fact your fur's shiny. He says the lid should open if you sprinkle grease it. Problem is, he's all out. He knows his old friend Choo Choo always keeps his grease sprinklers well filled. He should have an extra that you can borrow. He stresses that you should come back as soon as you've retrieved the grease sprinkler. The Merc Puff is It's big enough to make waves beneath the surface, and that's a challenge in itself. But it also has a hard shell, so you need to target its head. It's time to create your own path. Let's see. Choo Choo knew you would make it to him one day. All you had to do was follow the steel path. The rails might be getting rusty, but eventually they all converge on him. Claims rails are like rules. If you follow them the way you're supposed to, everything good in life can roll your way. Says you followed the rails to where you need to be, but tracks have switches in them too. The question is then, will you keep on the same track, or look for a way to hit that switch? You seem like you're on the right track already. He just hopes you don't get sidetracked onto a darker path. Whichever way you go, he wants you to know that the rails never steer you wrong. Stick to them, and they always bring you right to where you're meant to be. Wants to know if you've ever regretted taking one track in life instead of another. If you could go back, would you switch tracks or keep chugging along? Thinks everyone has. No one's perfect every time. Seems can't thank you enough for hitting the brakes and working to turn. Likes that you landed with the Ankati. Loves the way they dress. Those goggles are perfect for riding the rails. Needs something to protect your eyes when you're moving at speed. But says he's surprised to see anyone this far out. But sometimes the wrong train does take you to the right station. As you can see, he didn't plan to make a stop here, but now that he had to, he's really happy to see you. He's been off track since the world started dying, but he's trained his mind to stay positive regardless of the situation. Says sometimes he's convinced the tracks are like the paths our lives take, and you must deal with the outcome, even if you didn't lay them yourself. This time, though, he was sidetracked and needs a new wing nut to get back on track. Wing nuts are says you're just like he used to be, a one-track mind, but going... The Wingnut Chug Tunnel. It goes on forever. Pow! Got it. The best kind. Fashioned from quality. You can smell the must down here. Ching! Crit! Ooh-wee, that's biohazard. Just a few moves left. Make them count. Choo Choo says he keeps it safe in a box on the hand. It's on the Choo Choo says you should help yourself to it's a He's convinced you'll says there's no better person to use. Choo Choo says he can't wait to get out of this place. Understands. You shouldn't. Choo Choo says he believes you. Figures. Choo Choo's thrilled you found. Needs no. Says he's happy. Wonders who.
So, what we have here is an opportunity to help your next. There's a seat open on the ark should you want to offer it as a gesture of appreciation.
Why? You don't need anyone else but yourself and me, of course, but I'm a part of you, so that doesn't count.
If you want to go quickly, go alone. If you...
But you know you can't...
Choo Choo says he's ready to pack up and leave. Says you should... Wiz says that there's no plan to confront the Merkpuff until the octopod is properly armed. He knows you'll need something that packs enough boom to put a dent in that shell, or better yet, head. Pyro sticks will do the trick. There's a rumor that some of Boom's pyro sticks shot off and are out there roaming free. You should keep an eye on the horizon for pyros. If you're fast, you have a shot at catching some of them. Boom has named the place Puff Duff Bluff. It sounds silly, but it's an accurate description considering most of the pyros are duds. The end is coming to the world. And everything else. Wood scrap's great for building things. Scrapalicious. Go on, catch it. Ouch! Made quick work of that one. Nothing's more important right now than this. That looks like an unbanged pyro stick on the loose. Better catch it before it goes off. Not going to... The pyro sticks will cause a bang, but targeting is on you. At least now you have a chance to hurt the Merc Puff where it counts. He hopes so, as there's no Plan B, or more correctly, Plan C. Out of Date has named this Plan B. Plan A was to take on the World Eaters by foot, or flaps in this case. Turns out swimming down there was a bad idea. Seems the best... This means you'll have to go visit Gil at Burblebottom. Find Gil and he'll be able to tell you where to find the Guppos. Guppos are lively beings and they're fast too. They're...
Malo anja pambalas, bato keponan.